Here we go. New EP from Mr. Eric Seal, aka Asora. Debut EP on Never Say Die. 4 tracks, about 14 minutes long. Quite the meteoric rise that he's gone through last couple of years or so. You know, when you think about the people in this scene with this kind of music who have, you know, gone above and beyond, I think last couple of years or so, Eric Asora would have to be one of them. An incredible climb and kind of movement to the top, to the very top of bass music of dubstep, and in quite a short space of time, doing pretty mad things for melodic bass music, dubstep music. I don't think it can be played down. You know, maybe a year and a half ago, we were at a point where the melody, it was being completely sapped out of dubstep music. It was basically non-existent, if I'm being honest, as someone who's, you know, covering all of it. Everything I can get my hands on, or my ears on, if you will. Having people like him keeping on doing their thing in that environment just means now that we have a moment, we have a situation where, you know, colour bass is becoming a term that is, you know, talked about a lot. Future rhythm, melodic rhythm, whatever you want to call it. Surging, just growing more and more, having whole compilations from particular labels being devoted to it, and I don't think the part that Eric has played in that can be played down. So we're talking about one of the most important artists at the moment in melodic bass music and every kind of genre that shoots off into, and it is no surprise for me that he has now got this platform for his music and that his new and latest EP is on the biggest stage of all, Never Say Die. We got 4 tunes here, we got 14 minutes of, I assume, melodic bass goodness. I mean, it's called Gem World, that is quite suggestive of that. But, yeah, we are going to proceed now. Gem World, Asora. Double dropping coming. It's good. Solid so far. Enjoying it. Feels to me like the kind of tune that I'm going to enjoy more as I hear it again. At the moment, you know, hearing it just once there, it's fine. You know, the ideas are like, again, just solid. The musicality of it is good. Oh, fucking hell. Decent opening, not going far beyond or really just branching out, I think, ideas-wise. It's just, for me, a pretty solid Asora kind of number. A couple things here and there that, for me, are just quite classic of him, and for me, it's a thing of not quite knowing whether I should just be fine with it because it's his style, or maybe potentially thinking, like why hasn't that aspect of his production quite been built on or improved yet? It's just the kind of transitioning at points. It just feels a little bit clunky. I suppose like there just needs a little bit more going on at points in the transitioning, in those little break moments where you get those vocal samples just in between from transitioning from one section to another. Just feels maybe a bit like a little bit too stop-start, and that just kind of, I think for me anyway, just decreases the overall quality of the tune overall. But if you can kind of not get around it, but if you can kind of accept that is a part of his I suppose design and just overall approach, then yeah, you just accept it basically. Beyond that, I think the ideas for the most part were quite straightforward, not amazing, again, not going above and beyond conceptually here, I suppose is what I'm trying to say, for what he can do. But it was solid, they weren't ideas that I'm just like in any way kind of turning my nose up at or just feeling like they don't quite work. They did work, and they functioned well with the musicality, and the production was pretty good as well. The second drop was interesting, it might have been just because of how the fact that it was a little bit too low volume wise for what I was hearing, but the second drop initially felt like a bit of a fake out. I did initially think that maybe it was a bit of a fake out when clearly it wasn't, but that will be one that I will enjoy a lot more, I imagine, when I hear it again. I'm pretty sure of that, because yeah, just lobbing in a bit of hardstyle in that tune I think is a good idea. So yeah, a decent opener. Yeah, for the most part just vintage Asura with the ideas and the production. So moving on, we have track number 2, Soul Cavern. Ui! 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 Yes. Get this one right in my bloodstream. Inject it right in there. Let's go. Oh, okay. Oi. Okay. Okay, yeah, that one's drawing to a close already, isn't it? Excuse me. Going for that thing again. I've talked about it before. That whole thing of introduction, quick build, double drop coming straight in, and then that's it. Bit of an outro as well. But yeah, I think I've heard quite a bit of that kind of structural delivery, if you will, and I haven't been that impressed, if I'm being honest, with that kind of layout. Not a massive fan, but that was done very well, I have to admit, especially with the second drop switch up with the house. I enjoyed that. Getting a bit of Asura house, it sounded good. Again, not incredible, but I think it works as an experimentation from him. Loving the kind of vocal chopping moments that we're getting on this cut. The more Bridhamy kind of thing it went into, it didn't have quite that expansive feel, but it was a kind of Bridhamy percussion I'm not massive on, but what was on top kind of layered over it was very good. And then the house following that with the brief outro to go with it. So I enjoyed that one. I can imagine that one will become one of my Asura favourites over time. But moving on, we have the penultimate cut with Nitrix, I assume, on vocal duty here. Shattered. No spoilers.
blind, it doesn't matter. Yeah, everywhere I look, reflecting all the shattered. You stopped time just before our love broke. I'm gonna hold on to every piece, 'cause I can't let go. When will I come back to life again? 'Cause I'm shattered, shattered by you. When will I come back to life again? 'Cause I'm shattered, shattered by you.
Oi. Oh, ooh. Yeah, I'm liking this one. Energy. Nice so far. Again, they're not ideas that I'm like blown away by, but the arrangement here is some of the best that I've heard from him ever, for me. Like, there's a lot going on here, in the heaviness as well, but everything shines through in the mix like very cleanly. Ooh. These little dancey bits over the top are so good. Yeah. Man, the flow of that tune is fantastic. Oh my good lord. You know, he's had that thing before. He's had that issue for me, in my opinion, before, of his music. You know, the flavour's there, the melody's there, the range of sounds is there, but still just comes across as a little bit static. Had that in the past, but that for me is a perfect example of just how much he's improved. For me, well, for everyone, it's about music just not feeling clunky and feeling like it's got a good flow to it, like the arrangement actually makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And he definitely did in the past. Fall prey to that. Just the arrangement not quite working and it feeling just a bit muddled, basically, with what was being brought together. But here, everything shines through very clearly. It's just got loads of different avenues of engagement, if you know what I mean, for the listener. You've got the piercing stabs in the heaviness we get, and you've got the surging bits below, you've got the stuff going over the top. There's just a lot going on for the listeners to kind of latch onto and move along with, if you get me. That was very good. Enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. And for that reason, it's probably standing out as my pick here so far. I do enjoy the experimentation on Soul Cavern, but you know, it does a lot right, but it is quite short, whereas this one, it's got a bit more story to it, a bit more drawn out, a bit more extensive, and that is also, I think, embellished and kind of amped up by the vocal from Nitrix, which is fantastic. I think that was just for me the most complete feeling number that we've got here so far on the EP. You know, again, I'm not like wowed or blown away conceptually with the ideas. This EP for me, so far just getting progressively better, leading into this final cut, called Inferno.
Don't let
Hey. Ooh. Quite Vultra. Is that the Vultra one? I just remembered that now, like, you know, a few people saying there was a track that was quite Vultra.
Inferno.
Ooh. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's the invention that I want to hear from him. That's the energy, that's the, you know, that's the ambition, I suppose, with the ideas, you know, not just doing a standard boom to bah and having a couple sounds here and there, but actually making it exciting, you know, fleshing it out with exciting stuff. That middle drop was, that was good for that, very much so. Okay, yeah, a solid way to round off, and a tune that for me just got better as it went on, pretty much. Quite clearly a Vultra kind of tribute. I saw that exchange on Twitter. This was quite clearly for me the one that was directly influenced, and they've had the exchange, they've had the banter, so no ill feeling with that. Him kind of taking inspiration in that way. But yeah, solid. You know, starting off quite straightforward, with the sound design being very good throughout. As it went on, just getting even more kind of ambitious and more just out there and off the wall with what it was going for conceptually. All the while keeping that intergalactic, outer-worldly, spacey kind of vibe, just sounding good, I think, on that front. One of the most refined tunes that I've heard from Mr. Asura, and yeah, just sounding pretty good. But overall here, one listen in, and again, don't forget that I rarely ever know exactly what I think of something after I've heard it only once, but I think it does just get more ambitious as it goes on. The first one was solid, it was good, Gemworld, title tune, but didn't really push that many boundaries or do anything that particularly different conceptually, ideas wise. We get the experimentation in Soul Cavern with the house, and the first drop very clean, well executed as well. Shattered, for me the most complete feeling number on this EP. The vocal from Nitrix, very good as well, got a bit of a charm to it, enduring feel, enjoying the length of it as well, that cut, well placed at track number 3. And then Inferno, which for me just gets more inventive and ambitious as it goes on, and has for me the best, the most ambitious stuff on the EP, if I'm being honest. You know, the house, you could say the house was potentially the most ambitious, you know, genre wise that we get. Even though he did that, it was still quite straightforward, that idea, whereas with Inferno, I think, yeah, it's still clearly the Asura style, but in terms of the arrangement and in terms of just how he's branching out with those ideas on that tune, especially in the second half of it, that would have to be the most kind of ambitious, forward-thinking one for me. It's a good EP overall. You know, I'm not sat here like vast majority of these ideas or anything groundbreaking, or, you know, stuff that is taking me aback, or really as inventive and just ambitious as I know, as we all know he can be with his ideas. But I think a lot of the arrangement here is very good. A lot of the production is very good. A lot of good colour, melody in there as well, as per from him. So yeah, it is a good EP. I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm wowed at the moment, but again, I've only heard it once, and this is an EP that I think could end up rubbing off on me quite a bit. Yeah.